At some point in your ski career, you'll no doubt hit a shark that will leave your shiny new skis with a big gaping hole in the base. But not to worry though, because remember, your skis are tools for shredding the mountain, and almost all damage is repairable with the right know-how. This video will cover the basic repair for a scratch in the base using a P-Tex candle. If you've knocked out an edge or torn a massive hole, a patch job is going to be required. This would be a job for a ski tech or a top level DIYer. So if you're going to do this at home, you're going to want to make sure you've got some good ventilation, so open out those windows. And then you want to lay the skis down on either large boxes with boxes at the tails and the tips, or just use a ski clamp like I have. So what are the tools you'll need for a P-Tex repair? Well, let's start with the P-Tex itself first. You can either get this in black, it comes in a candle, just a long strip. You can get a set of them, come in a box of 6. So you can either get black or transparent. So transparent is going to be good if you've got a multicolored base or a colored base. It will just be able to shine straight through and you'll still be able to see the color rather than a big black blob on your base. Obviously, the black P-Tex candles work best on black bases. There is a rumor that black is faster than the transparent one, so if you do care about your speed, then maybe lean towards the black candle. And then you're going to want a metal scraper, elastic band to keep your ski brakes stowed away, some base cleaning material. I like to use a little masking tape, and then a wipe to wipe off the base cleaning material. And that's all you need. And then, like I said before, just make sure your skis are secured down on either boxes or a ski vise. So the first thing you need to do is just to assess the damage to see what you're actually working with. It could be that you actually have a second look at the scratch and it might be too big for a P-Tex candle. If you can see a large part of the core itself, then it's most likely going to be too big a damage for you to repair with just P-Tex. Or similarly, if you can see the ski edge is bent, then that will need an edge repair too. But if it's just a small scratch or you can just see part of the core, then this can still be repaired with a P-Tex candle. So the first thing you're going to want to do is take your metal scraper and scrape out any unwanted mud, rocks, or just general dirt that's stuck or lodged into the scratch itself. Just give it a good clean out and make sure it's fully cleaned off. And then you're going to want to take your base cleaning material and just clean away the base, and this will remove any ski wax around, and this will just help the P-Tex to stick to the base material itself. So I'm just mainly focusing around the scratch, just sort of cleaning away all of the wax around the affected area. We're going to wax our skis after we've repaired the scratch, so don't be too worried about wiping off too much wax. Just get it all off and get this area in particular nice and clean. Once I've got it cleaned, I'm going to take my metal scraper again, and I'm just going to score out some cuts on the inside of the scratch itself. And what this basically does, it puts a load of grooves into the edges of the scratch, and it allows the P-Tex to really grip onto the side of the base material. So just scratch a few lines into the side of the scratch, and then we will be good to start melting the P-Tex in there. Before you do go ahead and melt the P-Tex in there, I like to just put a bit of masking tape around the material itself. It doesn't really matter, but the P-Tex will start dripping, and you don't really want it dripping all over your base material. So I just like to block off the base material that I don't want any excess P-Tex to drip on, so I can just focus on the scratch itself. And then step 2 is just to take your lighter to your P-Tex candle, just like so. And then you'll slowly start to see the candle taking the flame itself. Once you see the candle take the flame, just start moving it around so that it doesn't get too hot. It will start dripping, and that's why we've got masking tape just on it, just here. So once it starts dripping, keep moving it around and just let it drip into the crack itself. This crack will need quite a bit of P-Tex to fill in, so it might take a bit of time. And just be aware, if it is alight for a long time, it might get too hot. So when you see too much of an orange flame, just take the heat off and then start again to prevent the P-Tex overheating. And like I said before, it's just important to keep moving or swirling the candle around so that heat is spreading throughout the whole candle, not just in one area. So you can be pretty liberal with how much P-Tex you actually apply. It just depends on how much you actually want to scrape off in the end. I'm going to apply quite a bit to this damaged area just to make sure I've got it all covered. And it's good to spread it quite far and wide over the whole damaged area, just so you make sure you're filling in all of the damaged bits. And then that's all of the P-Tex I want on the affected area. So I'm just going to leave that for a few minutes just to cool down, put the candle over on the side and let that cool down as well. So we'll give that a few minutes just to set in. Right, so I've given my P-Tex a few minutes to cool down. It's quite cool to the touch. I guess you're doing this in winter, so it will cool down pretty fast in sort of normal room temperatures. So the next stage is to then scrape off the P-Tex with your metal scraper, or the excess P-Tex, that is. So you should have your skis secured down pretty tough. This table's a bit wobbly, but it should be okay. With a big repair like this, I don't like to scrape from the top to the bottom because that risks all of the P-Tex then pulling out. I like to start in the center of the repair and then going out, and then starting on the other side and going out as well. So we'll do that. So take your scraper, make sure the actual scraper, the flat bit of the scraper itself, is also flat to the ski edge. You don't want to be sort of too high on one side and then sort of scoring a big line in your base. So keep it flat against the base, holding it at a slight angle. And just like I said, start from the center and just slowly start to pull away all of the P-Tex, like so. And because the P-Tex is still slightly warm, it should be quite smooth and easy to pull away. And then once I've scraped all the P-Tex on this side until it's relatively flat with the base, I'm then going to start on the other side and start scraping this side towards me too. So that's pretty much all of the P-Tex scraped out until it's relatively flat against the base itself. There's still some nubbins, but it's not too bad a job. If you want to be really perfect, you can just keep going over and over. You've just got to be aware that there is a chance of you pulling that P-Tex repair out. So maybe if you do want to really work it down and get it totally flat and smooth, then just give it a bit extra time just to cool down so it's totally solid in there. But this is looking quite good. If you are going to go down the perfectionist route, then you can also take a waxing brush, a nylon waxing brush, just to buff out any imperfections that might be in the P-Tex itself. So once you're happy with how flat your P-Tex repair is, you can then think about waxing the skis, because remember, we removed a lot of wax when we prepped the ski for the P-Tex. If you don't know how to wax a pair of skis, then click this video up here to head over to our how-to video on how to wax a pair of skis. Otherwise, thanks so much for checking out our ski workshop video. If you've got any questions at all about P-Tex repairs, just pop a comment below and I'll try and answer it as soon as possible. Otherwise, if you want to grab any maintenance tools to look after your own skis or even snowboard, then head over to our friends at Surf Dome. I'll pop a link below. Cheers.